A very good evening to you and welcome to Rwanda Television News with me, Sam Kalisa.
And I'm Fiona Mbabazi. We start off with news news that has been just communicated from the Cabinet on Monday, January 18th, 2021. His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, chaired a virtual cabinet meeting. The cabinet approved resolutions of the previous meeting held on January the 4th, 2021. Now, upon assessment of the recent unprecedented rise in the cases, death and transmission rate in the community, the cabinet called on Rwandans to heighten vigilance in observing COVID-19 health guidelines in order to slow the spread of the virus. Now, the surge in cases specifically in the city of Kigali has necessitated a lockdown. Citizens are urged to significantly reduce social interactions and limit movements only to essential services. The following measures will take effect immediately, to be reviewed after 15 days upon a health assessment. Specific measures in the city of Kigali: unnecessary movements, including visits outside home, are prohibited except for essential services including medical, healthcare, food, shopping, banking, etc., and for personnel performing such services. Now, all movements will require an approved permit from the Rwanda National Police. A complete list of essential services will be shared by the Ministry of Local Government. Travel between Kigali and other provinces and districts of the country is not permitted. Except for essential services and tourism, tourists must possess a negative COVID-19. Public transport is prohibited. However, transportation of food and essential goods will continue to function. Motors and bicycles are not permitted to carry passengers but may offer delivery services. All employees, public and private, shall work from home except for those providing essential services. Businesses are closed, except distribution and delivery services, as well as those selling food and medicine, which include pharmacies, hygiene and cleaning products, fuel and other essential items, but will operate at 30% capacity. Businesses permitted to operate must close by 6 p.m. Restaurants and cafes will only provide take-away services. Now, all schools, public and private, including universities, are closed. However, remote learning is encouraged. Places of worship are closed. Kigali International Airport will remain open. Arriving passengers must present a negative PCR taken within 120 hours prior to their first departure. Departing passengers must present a negative PCR test before departure. Designated hotels for arriving passengers will remain open under strict COVID-19 preventive measures. RDB will share a complete list of approved hotels. Tourism activities will continue in strict adherence with COVID-19 health guidelines. Now, these include hotels, tour operators and transport services facilitating guests. Tourists and service providers shall inform RDB of itineraries. Hotels will only host essential conferences upon written approval from RDB. Detailed guidelines will be provided by RDB. Farming will continue for the ongoing agricultural season while observing COVID-19 control measures. Funeral gatherings should not exceed 15 persons. Now, measures in the remaining part of the country. Movements are prohibited from 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Places of worship are closed. Schools will continue while respecting COVID-19 control measures. All bars remain closed. All social gatherings and events, including religious weddings, ceremonies, receptions, meetings, and conferences, are prohibited. Public gyms and swimming pools shall be restricted from the public, with the exception of those tested guests that are staying at the hotels. Attendance at a wake or vigil, ikirio, should not exceed 10 people at any one time. Funeral gatherings should not exceed 15 persons. Gaming activities remain prohibited. The Cabinet approved establishment of Technology Support Center in Rwanda by the tech experts. The Cabinet approved the following: draft law modifying law determining state finances for the year 2020-2021, draft organic law amending organic law on governing elections, presidential order determining elective posts at the village sales sector and electoral colleges, Prime Minister's order determining members of the Executive Committee of National Councils and modalities for elections, ministerial order relating to the National Report on Climate Change. The Cabinet approved the foreign country representatives of international organizations in Rwanda. Ms. Isa Toure Sar, country manager of the African Development Bank in Rwanda with residence in Kigali. Mr. Ekechukwu Daniel Ogabanya, country representative of the Global Green Growth Institute in Rwanda with residence here in Kigali. The Minister of Youth and Culture informed Cabinet of the National Heroes Day observed on February the 1st, 2021. Related activities will be organized from January 24th to the 31st via multiple media platforms through radio, television, as well as social media. Signed, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, Prime Minister in Kigali, January 18th, 2021. Now, with health experts saying that at least 1 in 10 people in Kigali city is COVID-19 positive, city residents have noted that special measures are needed to bring the infection rate under control.
Figures from the Ministry of Health indicate that 62% of the 2,649 COVID-19 fresh infections in the first 17 days of this year of 2021 were found in Kigali, and that more than 80% of the 50 people the pandemic has killed this year were Kigali residents. In general, 4 of the 5 people COVID has killed in Rwanda so far were from Kigali city. The Rwanda Biomedical Center has also announced that in less than 2 months, the rate of new COVID-19 infections has increased so sharply, the prevalence of the virus has shot from 1 to 5% countrywide. And in Kigali city, it sits at 12%, meaning 1 in every 10 people in the city is carrying the virus.
Twapimye abantu basaga 2,900 mu gihe cy'iminsi nk'ine cyangwa 5 mu gihugu hose.
We tested more than 2,900 people in a period of 4 or 5 days countrywide, and back in September, we found the COVID-19 prevalence rate was at 0.1%. In October, it was at 0%. In November, it had gone up to 1%. In December, as the holiday season approached, we found the prevalence rate even higher at 2%. And that is when we started getting worried, because anything higher than 1% means something is very wrong. In January, during the first week, it had climbed to 3%. And this was random testing. 2 days ago, we found the figures at 5%. And this is the first time we are announcing this. That is countrywide. In Kigali city alone, it's 12%. And that is random testing. This is very worrying when you consider that it is random testing.
Mu Rwanda ko dutomboza dutya tukabona abantu benshi bafite uburwayi bungana gutyo.
2 weeks after our hospital was opened specifically to care for the worst affected by the COVID-19 virus, critically ill that is, it is now 70% full. If nothing is done, it will be full in another week and another will have to be opened. Kigali's residents are worried, and rightfully so. Scary with so many people getting infected and dying. We used to say that COVID doesn't kill that much, but that is obviously not the case. I think a total lockdown should be imposed, but things like rent and garbage collection fees should also be suspended. COVID is a very serious problem because the infection rates have continued to climb, and so have fatalities. Our businesses have also suffered because of COVID. With so many infections and deaths, I think measures including a total lockdown for the next 2 weeks should be considered, but afterwards they should let us work again. Health officials have noted that movement restrictions are key if the pandemic is to be brought under any sort of control. It's hard to say that there is an area that is free of COVID. But if the prevalence rate in Kigali is at 12%, yet below 3% in the provinces, and an average of 5% countrywide, then Kigali is unique in many serious ways. It is therefore best that all people remain where they are, so that health officials can properly deal with this. It is not the same if everybody is running around infecting others and pulling up the infection rate. Nyarugenge Hospital was opened 2 weeks ago and is already 70% full. Yet that is a big hospital. At this rate, we would have to open a new hospital every 2 weeks, which is not practical. Restricting movements for a certain period is far more doable as health workers continue their work.
batakomeza ingendo banduzanya ku gihe runaka mu gihe ako kazi kandi gakorwa.
COVID-19 has so far killed more than 140 people in Rwanda since March last year, infecting more than 11,000.
Now, all traders are going to be issuing receipts using EBM, which are currently being given to traders for free and regardless of their investment as it has been in the past. Traders who have been using the EBM technology say it helps them to calculate sales as well as taxes. Customers who go to different shops and businesses say that when they're given EBM receipts, it makes them confident of the prices of goods as well as allowing them to contribute to tax payment. It helps a person know if the price corresponds to the goods purchased. When they give you goods without a receipt, they can make goods expensive. Traders who issue payment receipts using EBM machines say that it also helps to determine how they trade. EBM has two important things. First, it helps us know we've paid taxes, which helps building the country, and also helps us know our sales and stock. The first importance is that it helps in tax payment and determining the VAT. The EBM helps you know how much you've traded and your stock. Sometimes you can make an order and the EBM notify you that the product is not available in the stock. Using hands is really tiresome. It even facilitates tax evasion. On the other hand, traders who have not yet started issuing the EBM are requesting that they be helped to access the technology and be trained on using it. If the EBMs are available, then the issue is knowledge of using them. The government should train traders on using the EBM. The Assistant Commissioner of Taxpayer Services and Communications at the Rwanda Revenue Authority, Witonze Jean-Paul, says the technology is easy for everyone because the application will be installed in the trader's computer and will be available for free. We do not request a person to have a 20 million Rwandan francs turnover a year to register under the value-added tax and be given the EBM. For now, whether he has a 3 million or 5 million turnover, the EBM is given for free. You just bring your personal computer, then we install it for you. We later provide the training on how to use it. We will not allow the value-added tax declaration for whoever decides not to use the EBM. The 2020-2021 tax year declaration will consider EBM receipts or receipts accompanied by a customs declaration only. Currently, traders who pay value-added tax are 31,768 and the taxpayers through the EBM technology are more than 26,000.
And now some residents of Remera sector in Gasabo district say their homes were demolished in 2019 because their houses were in swamps. But the revised master plan for the city of Kigali now shows that the land is not in the swamp area.
The residents of Nyabisindu Cell in Gasabo district who say their houses were demolished are said to have been living in swamps. However, they say that after seeing the revised master plan, it shows that this is a residential area. Most of us have permanent land titles and we used to pay taxes. But recently, we put our titles in the system after the new master plan of Kigali City was published and found out that these were residential areas. After the demolition, the revised master plan came out and even some people have it at the moment. That's when we found out that this was a residential area. And we asked around those in charge of security who also confirmed to us. So we are now wondering why our houses were demolished in the first place. The issue is not strange to other residents of other cells who say they've sought for help from authorities, but nothing has been done so far. The administration of Gasabo district says that no swampy areas were declared residential and urges residents who have a problem to go to the district to assess the situation. The revised master plan didn't change the location of swamps. Where was defined as swampy areas is still the same. They used GPS to see areas that had water, and that's why those houses were removed. So perhaps there are areas where there's no water, and that's why when some residents put their documents in the system, they find it marked as residential areas. So for those with that issue, they can come to us and receive what to do. The revised master plan for Kigali, called Kigali Master Plan 2020 to 2025, was released last year, replacing the existing one from 2013.